Hello, everyone. I am so excited. We have with us today a whole team of people from Ekam USA and the Ekam Foundation. We have with us Neelima Reddy. She's the director. We have Harsha Vatsavayi. He's a youth ambassador. Abhay Basireddy, another youth ambassador. Harun Vemulapalli is another youth ambassador. And Sai Lakshmi Balijepally is the founder of Ekam Foundation. And we're honored to have with us today John Brennick, who is the CaringCrowd founder at Johnson & Johnson. Wow, what a great team. We're thrilled to have everybody. So stick around. You don't want to miss this incredible discussion.
Welcome to the Your Mark on the World show with your champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
This episode is made possible via the support of our sponsors, including Johnson & Johnson's CaringCrowd. Well, John, Neelima, Harsha, Abhay, Harun, Sai, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have all of you here today. Neelima, perhaps we can start with you. Would you just tell us a little bit about the Ekam Foundation and Ekam USA?
Ekam USA is a sister organization for Ekam Foundation in India. We work together to improve the healthcare for access for children and mothers in need. When a lot of the times public hospitals in India don't have all the resources they need to save these children. So instead of building a new structure and a new system, we supplement them and bridge the gaps. Wherever there is a need, we step in and bridge the gap to make sure that in the most cost-effective way, a small amount can go a long way in terms of helping these children and mothers in need.
Excellent. How did you get connected with CaringCrowd, Neelima?
I was Googling, like I tell my patients not to do. So we actually found some charity apps. Johnson & Johnson has a donate a photo app, and I contacted them how Ekam can benefit. Because anytime I see a charity opportunity, I'm looking at the other side, how we can get it for Ekam. And they suggested contacting CaringCrowd. Once I met John, it has been an amazing partnership in all the support they give us for the projects we do in India, for the villages, for the children, and some local projects in US as well. They provide a matching grant and support our donors who get really excited about matching and probably donate more than what they intend to.
No, that's great. That matching is a powerful feature. John, why don't you take a minute and just tell people quickly about CaringCrowd and the J&J match?
The CaringCrowd was founded to provide, to empower all of us to improve the world's health. And it's a free service provided by Global Public Health Department at Johnson & Johnson. We encourage people to really jump in and use the site, not just look through it, but you can, if you're ready to start fundraising, click on Create a Project and email help@CaringCrowd and we will help you. If you just want to help a project that you see that is actively campaigning, you can jump in and pledge some money or help them with their marketing by sharing, whether by email or using the social media apps, app icons that we have handily available.
No, fantastic. Now, we have with us today three of the great youth ambassadors that are members of the team. Harsha, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what your role is as a youth ambassador for Ekam USA?
Hello, my name is Harsha Vatsavayi. During Ekam, I help make fundraisers and different fundraising opportunities. I also volunteer at a lot of local events. So yeah, I just do basically everything.
That's great. Abhay, tell us about your experience as a youth ambassador.
Hi, I'm Abhi, and I'm an Ekam Youth Ambassador. So what I do is I sometimes write projects for Ekam, and I also volunteer at local events that we do here in Baton Rouge. And I also help in making sure that users they can log their volunteer hours. So that's what I do.
Oh, that's great. And Harun, tell us about your experience as a youth ambassador.
So I do a lot of the things that the other people do as well. I create campaigns on, of course, CaringCrowd, and I also try and go to the local communities and try and help those people out through Ekam projects as well. And I also try and get to the big corporations so they can provide us money as well, try and apply for grants and things like that. So we don't have to ask local communities, so we can ask the big corporations because they have the big dollars, so they'd be able to help us in our journey.
That's fantastic. Sai Lakshmi, perhaps you could tell us the founding story, how Ekam Foundation came to be.
Yeah. So Ekam basically means oneness, and it's been a beautiful spiritual journey for me. And yes, as a pediatrician, witnessing kids dying in the government hospitals because of lack of infrastructure support, medications, and lab investigation support was an inspiration to start Ekam. And it was started with a very strong emotion of no child should be refused of treatment because of financial constraints, and no parent should feel guilty that he or she not able to afford the treatment, and no hospital should refuse patients because of financial constraints.
Yeah.
So,
Neelima, I wonder if you would tell us a little bit about what you have done with the money you've been raising on CaringCrowd.
So we wrote several projects in CaringCrowd. The structure of Ekam is we have different local chapters all over USA, about 14 chapters now. The youth ambassadors, they adopt a village in India and they choose a need they want to support to. Like each of them did school supplies, clean water, toilet, public health. So when we write a campaign, we get the youth ambassador involved in understanding the problem and communicate with the village so they get the data on how many children, how many adults live there, and what kind of the primary health center, what kind of needs they have. And when we put that on CaringCrowd, the youth ambassador in the local chapter goes out to use that link to raise funds for that. So we involve the local community who feel connected to back home. They want to do something to help, and they understand the commitment by Dr. Sai Lakshmi that we know the money goes to the right place, and with the matching, they're excited to donate. So once we do that, we transfer the money to India for these projects, and they give us feedback about the completed project. Predominantly, though, it is for healthcare. So the children who are in need and cannot afford a surgery or medical treatments, Ekam is continuously doing direct medical support for these children, as well as a lot of preventive activities, like the nutrition support project that Abhay wrote. It is to educate mothers to eat nutritional food and grow a kitchen garden that will prevent them from having preterm labor and early childbirth, which will cause the babies to end up in ICU requiring more medical treatment and increased costs. So we're trying to prevent a problem as well as treat it when it's needed.
It sounds like just wonderful work. Harun, I wonder if you would take just a minute and tell us why you wanted to be involved in this work.
Yeah, so like as I was growing up, my parents have always given me the things that I've needed as a child. I've been given the healthcare, I've been given a shelter, a really nice home, a really nice family, all these things that I've been giving, other people have not been given just because of pure luck of I've been born into the situation. And I feel like instead of me just living my own life, trying to go to the next level, trying to do what's best for me, I should try and help those other people who aren't as privileged as I am, because they deserve a chance too to actually get to the top of the system and be able to live a successful life and be able to live a healthy life in their communities.
That is a really inspiring answer. Harsha, what about you?
Yeah, it's a lot of the same things. Like I've been born into a very fortunate system. I have a supporting family and all of these things, and many people out here don't, especially in India. So it's really nice to help give back to the children that don't have it as well as I do.
Abhay, what about you? What motivates you?
Well, again, the same reason that Harsha and Harun have, because I've just been so fortunate to be born into this position, what I am, have all these gifts, but not everyone can do that. But also because what I consider the greatest gift of all is the gift of life. And lots of these children are fighting for their lives in these government hospitals. And these parents are having to make decisions that they really shouldn't have to be making, essentially choosing between their kid in the hospital or their kids at home. So it helps them have this opportunity. It literally saves their lives.
Yeah. John, tell us a little bit about how this fits in with the Caring Crowd J&J mission.
Well, clearly it's a healthcare company, and Caring Crowd is all about health and access to healthcare. So it's just delightful that Ekam Foundation, Ekam USA, is taking full advantage of Caring Crowd and the way it's set up. And it's an ideal situation. They also, I'm so impressed not only, of course, with their careful use of funds to maximize the health impact in India, but also their model where they have all these fundraisers around the country, leveraging the resources of Caring Crowd to make it easier. And if you can Google Ekam USA Caring Crowd and go to their project page, and you'll see all the volunteers that they have and all the many projects that they've done and how much they've raised. And it's just impressive. And it's been such an honor and privilege for me to have played some part in that.
Oh, that's great. Sai Lakshmi, tell us a little bit about how you enjoy or don't enjoy working with these youth ambassadors from around the world.
It's absolutely pleasure, Devin, working with them, and it's so beautiful to see them speak that that we are fortunate and we want to share. So that's what Ekam wants. Ekam means oneness, and the kids are feeling this. It's so pleasure to watch them saying this, and it's wonderful. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's great. Neelima, I wonder if you would share a case study, an example, an anecdote about an individual that Ekam USA or the Ekam Foundation has helped, so that we can understand, just as an example, what's going on and how lives are being impacted by your work.
Yeah, the highlight, and which is the the best example for what Ekam does, is there are daily wage laborers that work, and they probably make $40 a month. And this is only husband is working, the wife is at home taking care of children without the proper nutrition. And when the child is born and they need ICU support, they may need up to $1,000, $2,000 at the minimum, without any guarantee that the child is going to make it through that after spending all the money, and the parents don't have this money. So this is the dilemma that Sai has faced, that the parent has to decide, should I sell my house and start the other kids to be able to support the medical treatment for this child? And she said, this is sad that the parent has to think like that. They may say, I may have to give up on this child, and so because I can always have another child. And that's terrible that somebody should have to decide that. And that's when she said that, being a pediatrician, I didn't do the medical school to save a child only if he has money and not be able to save if we don't. So we should have no doctor or no parent go through this burden of having to decide that. So in that particular case, this parent, Arul, had this baby who needed ICU support because of pneumonia and pulmonary complications. So Ekam stepped in. They moved him to a facility which had all the requirements and the ventilator support that he needed. And the private hospitals also, who usually charge a lot of money, they have they're in network with Ekam, and they give huge discounts and pretty much at cost treatment. So when they gave the discount, the rest of the money, Ekam actually leveraged some government funds that are available for this purpose, which the parent had no clue how to access them. So making use of the funds as well as raising from individual donors. And they also involve private companies with corporate social responsibility. So they raised the other money, the other $1,000 that still needed to be paid. And they were able to save the child, and the child is now 5 years old and healthy. So we have these success stories on Ekam Foundation's website. And that is one of the cases that she had to deal with.
Oh. Well, Harsha, what are you most proud of having accomplished as a result of your work with Ekam?
Yeah, I think the best thing I've done so far is create the CaringCrowd website. It raised over $1,000 and it helped go towards a school in Vemulapalli, India. It was a small village and it basically gave them desks and chairs, and it was really productive.
Excellent, excellent. What about you, Abhay? What are you most proud of having accomplished?
Well, I also made a CaringCrowd project, and this time it was to raise nutritional awareness in Tamil Nadu because, so what it did was, I just launched it and I'm sure it's going to reach its goal, but this is where Ekam goes and educates villagers in Tamil Nadu about nutritional awareness. So they know which foods are nutritionally healthy and they could stay healthy to avoid malnutrition. It also helps them, Ekam also helps them start their own gardens and teaches them how to maintain their gardens so they can have that in the future. And another key part is it encourages the youth and the mothers to look after themselves because it's a culture there for the mothers to feed the family before themselves. But this might lead to problems within the unborn baby. So it educates the community as well. That's my most proud of it.
That's great. That's great. Harun, what about you? What are you most proud of having accomplished?
Well, I've also done one of the campaigns on CaringCrowd, and it was for Order from India, and it was for a child care center. And what we basically did was, and I really like the format of the website because it shows you every single thing that we're actually raising money for. For example, we raised money for tumblers, which are kind of like water buckets. We raised money for desks and these water pumps and these water systems, and it showed you exactly how much money you need for each thing, and we raised about $800 for it. I think another one of my achievements that I'm really proud of is because at my school, we're actually trying to integrate the Ekam organization into a club at my school called Be the Change, and it's basically saying that we should try and be the change in our communities to try and make our communities better. Because at our school, we've had a couple of people who have taken their own lives, and that's terrible. And we've tried, I don't want to work just internationally, but also in my local community, just like at school. And it's basically making students more comfortable. And we're trying to implement a system where mentors could go with their students, make them feel like brothers and sisters, so they'd actually be able to tell their struggles. Or some people, they have a lot of things on their back and they can't tell other people about it because they don't trust anyone. So what we're trying to do is try and create a mentor system where they could treat a person like a brother or a sister. They'd be able to tell them about their problem, and that Ekam would be able to solve the problem that they have by making their lives better in different ways, like medical care.
Fantastic, fantastic.
And Devin, Sai Lakshmi probably has something to say in that respect about the mentoring.
Great. Sai, please.
Yeah, so as I said, the kids are it's best to go with the kids because they are pure at heart, and peer mentoring and instilling positive value system is something we are really looking at with the kids, because kids to kids mentoring is quite interesting and quite easier rather than the parents actually mentoring. So we are coming up with how do we actually instill values into the kids. So something called high schoolers can start mentoring the middle schoolers, because the middle schoolers are still at that impressional age, and we are trying to see how best the care, compassion, kindness can be mentored into these kids so that they don't get distracted into other areas. So that we feel very strong, because globally we need this in the kids to happen so that they shape their future in a beautiful way and share things with others.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Neelima, we really appreciate you and the group taking time with us today. Before we wrap up, I wonder if you would take just a minute and tell people how they can learn more about Ekam USA.
So our website is the best way to go and learn more about the projects being done. It's called Ekam, which is EKAM, E with an accent, EKAM USA, ekamusa.org, which is different from the website for Ekam Foundation, which also gives the actual work being done in India. It gives all the options of how you can support work with Ekam by donating through all the options, including the CaringCrowd projects where you can get matching. And we also have listed all the chapters, the 14 chapters in USA, where you can go and be involved locally with the local adult and youth volunteers, either to train and mentor them or do local projects, even for healthcare and service activities. We have a unique program for the kids to be eligible for the Presidential Service Award, which through their service hours, and support them through making clubs and all that. But the website would be the better way. And of course, please like our Facebook page, Ekam USA 16.
Fantastic. Now, John, we are grateful that you've been able to take the time to be with us as well today. Before you go, I wonder if you would just take a minute and tell people how they can learn more about CaringCrowd, maybe get a project started.
Thanks so much. Yeah, just go to www.caringcrowd, CaringCrowd.org. Click on Create a Project at the top of the screen, and you'll get started. You can start a draft, save it, and go back to it later. You can invite teammates to have access as well to help the project page. And we will insist on talking to you before you launch your first campaign to help set you up for success. It's that kind of thing that has led to CaringCrowd enjoying a more than 80% campaign success rate on our site. I'd like to take a moment to mention Johnson & Johnson's Credo, which is a document that guides employees of Johnson & Johnson, and was instrumental in the launch of CaringCrowd. And thank the Global Public Health Group at Johnson & Johnson for funding and committing to the operations of CaringCrowd and the matching funds.
No, fantastic. Well, John, everybody, Neelima, the team, thank you all for taking the time to be with us today. We wish you every success in improving health outcomes for children in India.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All righty. Let's do some good.
At CaringCrowd, we believe everyone has the power to make a difference. Through our crowdfunding platform for community health, we empower passionate people to drive real change. Whether you work for a nonprofit organization, volunteer, or want to get involved for the first time, you can post a campaign on CaringCrowd. Join us, because caring is where change begins.
Thank you for listening. Devin Thorpe's mission is to end extreme poverty, improve global health, and mitigate climate change before 2045 by finding and sharing the stories of those who are doing the most good. You can join with other listeners to accelerate Devin's mission by visiting helpdevin.org right now.